What's happening? I love that trippy music to get the spaces started. Thanks everyone for joining. We're gonna get going soon. Just give us a minute or two and we'll kick this off. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls will be with you in 1 second. We're just waiting for the man, the myth, the legend, Altcoin Sherpa to get logged on, and then we'll kick things off in short order.
Was that an order pun, Drew?
I'm gonna say yes, Arjun. I'm gonna say yes.
We'll take it. We'll take it.
Yeah, I'll take it. It's like when we announced our otter mascot on International Otter Day, and everyone was asking our team if we did that intentionally. And I told the team, we say yes to that answer. Of course, everything is intentional here. All right, I'll tell you what, while Sherpa gets up and running, I'm going to go ahead and get things rolling because we have a couple, I believe, of the KOLs who participated in the event join us. And oh, there's Sherpa. What's up, man? Invited to speak. All right, let's do this. Everyone, thank you for joining us. I appreciate you as always. We have a robust lineup for you to celebrate the conclusion of our first ever edition of the World Series of Trading Crypto Championship. Some of the most elite traders in DeFi battling it out for a total prize pool of $175,000 to see who is the top dog when it comes to crypto trading. A reminder for our audience listening today that there is a $200 USDC reward for the best recap of today's session. So if you're out there listening and want to make an easy buck, we'd love to see your recaps on Twitter. We always really enjoy them. So let's see, is Sherpa up to speak yet? Let me just invite him again. While we're waiting for Sherpa to get on, Arjun, I'm going to turn it over to you. Ladies and gentlemen, Arjun needs no introduction, COO of Orderly Network and the brains behind how WSOT came to be. Give me your quick take, Arjun. What were some of the things that stood out to you in terms of the traders, things that evolved during the 4-week competition?
Good, good question. I'd probably just highlight, definitely not the brains behind it. There was a lot of people involved, a lot of moving parts. I don't think the competition would have been anywhere without every single person on the team. But like inception of idea with a couple of like good stakeholders at Audley came through my side, but realistically it was our growth and marketing teams that actually put everything together. So big kudos and credit to them. Um, in terms of things that surprised me, maybe my naivety, right? The first thing that I actually thought I was gonna see is these guys run up like 10K to like 100K, 500K, a million. Um, but maybe that's just my like crypto Twitter echo chamber where you're always seeing these like crazy P&Ls and stuff like that. And over the course of the 4 weeks, I spent a lot of time talking to different traders. And I think one thing that stood out to me, which in hindsight makes a lot of sense, right? Like these guys are professional traders. They know exactly what they're doing. They're not, it's not sustainable to spin up an account from 10K to a million over the course of 4 weeks. And something that CL actually said to me, that he was saying that he was sticking to his day in, day out trading strategy to be healthy. Anything that has like extreme significant returns is just gambling, right? And I think that restructured my viewpoint in terms of like, oh wait, this is your like day-to-day job. Of course you're not gambling, it needs to be sustainable, it needs to be accurate. And I think from there, especially during the sort of like super volatile week 3, where where we saw a lot of liquidations, seeing some of those guys like manage risk, trade and not trade during certain times, the assets they were trading, all of these different things I found super interesting. Majority of them were sticking to majors, which makes a lot of sense and is obvious. Saw other people taking more like narrative based plays. Like I saw Nanny XBT sort of longing Pepe and Doge at the end of week 3, maybe looking for some sort of like bounce with meme coins, which typically move quicker or bounce faster in these markets, at least this cycle anyway. So with a lot of different things that surprised me. Other things that surprised me as well were and this is a big benefit as well, was how active the traders were, talking to each other, the type of positions they took, and honestly, the feedback that they got from us was that we got from them was, some of the better things, whether it's feedback on the actual competition or feedback on our product and so forth. So lots of really really great insights, and it's really really overall positive from my side.
Yeah, it was a roller coaster. I want to ask the same question to our official MC, the one, the only, Outcoin Sherpa, who was sort of like, if you guys ever played Mario Kart, the little turtle in the cloud that kicks off the race. All the real audience gets this analogy. That was Altcoin Sherpa, who was there hand in hand to give us his commentary. Sherpa, what did you think? What caught
Hey
you
guys,
by surprise? What was the most thrilling moments for you?
can you guys hear me now?
Yeah, loud and
Awesome,
clear.
awesome, fantastic. Yeah, thanks guys for hosting me. I thought it was a really fantastic competition overall. It was really fun to narrate, and it was really fun to just be an observer, kind of like a fly on the wall. And I was able to see like a lot of the stuff on the back end. Um, I thought it was just a really great experience overall. And I think that the traders all did fantastic. The overall market conditions were really tough, and um, like that was both evident in the results, but it was also evident just from talking with people. I mean, like you have all of these professional traders, all of these guys trade like really big size, and like I know that maybe they weren't necessarily taking this competition as seriously as they would maybe like their own trading book, but regardless, you still saw a lot of like liquidations. You still saw like a really choppy environment, and you really only saw two profitable traders, or very few over the entire course of the competition. So I thought that everyone did really well, but like this competition actually I think would be a lot different if this happened like during December, when typically seasonality, the market is a lot better in like December, January. Argent, you might have actually seen these guys do like 5x on their account pretty quick, I think. As they ramp up the risk, and like the overall market conditions are just better.
Yeah, totally. We got a couple of the traders in the competition who are on. One is Jordy. Jordy, are you there? Are you able to speak? We'll see if Jordy, I think Jordy might be
Hey, how's it going?
Hey Jordy, what's up, man?
Good, good.
Hey, I'd love to pick your brain as to strategies or perspective as someone who's actually battling it out during this competition.
Yeah, there was a lot of strategy because it wasn't like an absolute P&L, like who's gonna get the highest P&L. It was like who's gonna do well, like over many weeks, separately, like individual games. And I would say it's kind of an analogy between, for all the poker players, like playing cash game where you're just trying to get the most dollars at the end, versus like a tournament where you're not gonna end up with any chips if you get second, but it's still a good outcome. You get like the ICM considerations. So for me early on, I just looked at the list. There was like a bunch of talented traders, legends in there. We got Thicky. We lost Thicky early, but I think my strategy was, I think it was like 12 or 13, 14. I don't know the exact number it started, but I'm just playing for first. So like, first, second max, because you don't get any prizes after that really. So I wanted to pick a high variance strategy. Otherwise, there's no point just being in the middle. And I think DeFi Squared and Sue were the ones that really got the ball rolling early on. So I was third after the first week and kind of tracking them. And you have to adapt to the other players. So it's not about just trading and trying to trade well. Like the way I did it was I tried to like see what positions they had, and if they're long, maybe I want to go short. Like I just try to have like a different strategy than them. Of course, like, get good entries and good exits. Um, and then at some point, we were both doing so. I think like DeFi Squared 2 and I were all doing so well. We had to just play against each other and just like leverage up, and who's going to leverage the most. And I think DeFi Squared got liquidated. So that was my experience early on.
That's super interesting. I didn't even really think about that to the degree to which you're not playing in a vacuum. You're seeing the other competitor's strategy and you want to kind of differentiate yourself. Um, Jordy, if I could ask one more question, it would be like, is there a trade or an idea you had that you regretted that you wish you could have a take back on?
So, I mean, obviously we had the huge crash in the middle, where I think ETH went from 3,500 to like way below 3,000. I think me and Sad Start, who both ended up kind of, getting some prize, we we realized that you don't want to get like fully liquidated. You want to at least like keep some chips. So you don't want to go to like absolute zero. You want to have something to rebuild on. And I think we both had a stop around with like $1,000 left or $2,000 left, and we kind of did something with that at the end. I think I regret maybe not keeping a bit more because it was hard to compete at the end with less. So I think I would have had a stop loss maybe a little bit higher, even if it meant getting stopped out earlier.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that makes sense. I see CL on the line. CL, another one of our esteemed traders. CL, you there?
Yeah, what's up?
Hey, what's up, man? I was just kind of curious to get your perspective as one of the traders battling it out. How do you feel things went from your end? Any trades that you wish you could have doubled down on? You wish you could have not done?
Not really. Didn't wasn't fighting any battles, just doing my usual thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Tell me about the market. Like, do you feel that that 4 week stretch did that give you any issues? Like, I think Alcoin was saying maybe if we'd done this in September, the trading and the outcome would have been a different story. Did the market turns give you any issues, or was that just part of the life?
Um, I thought it was kind of okay. Uh, I've done worse when the market has done nothing. And pro yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, I
So
hear you.
yeah, I don't really leave my positions up like overnight. I think yeah, very extremely rare. I've done it only a few times in my entire like trading career. Also, I just woke up, so sorry. Um, and yeah, since I don't leave positions up, it's like I usually never get hit by these like 10% plus moves. Um, but yeah, sometimes I still try to fit in, be like, shit, I own so much spot, fuck. But like, um, yeah, usually I do tend to avoid large drawdowns.
Yeah.
Hey, let me just jump in, CO, with a question for you. I had a little insider on the last day of the competition, and he said he saw you guys grinding in the office for the last 12 hours straight. What was the last 12 hours like? What were you guys pushing for? Um, was there any specific tactics you were trying to do? Were you just trying to out trade SatStar? How was that?
Oh yeah, yeah, there's something happened, but we ended up just winning on pure skill, or at least I didn't win, but I I I thought I did really well. Uh, but I think maybe some of the some snapshot timings were unfortunate, plus or more fortunate for specific traders, and then honestly I didn't really like play it like for the snapshot timings, so maybe I should have if I actually try to go for it, and then um yeah I think. Well, I actually don't know how to trade in any other way, so I don't know what I could have done actually, because like I only know how to scalp like very small moves. So yeah, that's all I did toward the yeah during the whole thing.
Well, kind of related to that. So I battled Rhino, ended up winning the whole thing. I'd open this question up to anyone on the line. What did he do? Like Sherpa or anyone else? What was sort of the keys to success that you guys saw?
Yeah, I can take this one because I talked with Rhino earlier today. Just I was just asking him some of his strategy and kind of insights. Like from the back end, from my perspective, one thing I noticed about iBattle Rhino was that he also had a similar strategy to CL in the sense that whenever we were looking at snapshots and like open positions, he like never had anything open. So like I think he was just in and out. And he said that that was actually like not his usual style of trading. He's like usually likes to hold positions longer, but for the competition, um, he was much more, I think, in and out of trades. You know, much quicker timing. I also think that Rhino he had an interesting strategy in the sense that like if you looked at week one trading volume, he really wasn't really active at all. He kind of just like waited for people to get liquidated, which eventually happened. Like I think he got liquidated on day one, and like Timeless went out pretty quick as well. Like everything was pretty volatile, and Rhino was just in and out, in and out. But like you said earlier, Drew and Arjun, like everyone just kind of traded majors for the most part. Um, but yeah, I mean, I think Rhino was just patient, and he just kind of waited until like market conditions were just better for his trading. But that's kind of my take from talking with him, and um, he also had some like overall thoughts on like the competition's like structure of it. But we can maybe talk about that later if you guys want as well.
I'd be kind of curious. What was he saying about the competition structure?
I mean, we all had this kind of debate like early on with regards to like point system versus like pure P&L.
Hmm.
Obviously, like with a larger group of people, like say, like Bybit has a trading competition with like thousands of participants. Like pure P&L is going to win that all day, right? It's like you don't have to really adjust for anything. It rewards like being a degenerate and just trading a lot and what have you. But like when you have like a smaller competition where you want more like engagement, promotion, you kind of want uh, you know you want more activity and maybe not just necessarily someone just like hitting like a really big banger trade and just like sitting out. I think that points are definitely consideration. But Rhino did say that like he cared more about P&L, and like he also thought that like it is a little bit wonky in the sense that um, our top three, Jordy and Sats, were also like negative on the account, and like CL was like not in the top three, even though him and Rhino were the only ones that were positive P&L. So, like we'll have to think about some sort of considerations in terms of like maybe negative P&L or like multipliers or some point bonuses for different things. But all in all, I think that like our first go was like pretty good. Like I think that everyone had a pretty good time, and the overall structure was pretty exciting near the end. But that's just
Hmm.
kind of my take.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah, I
Hey,
think the
so,
best part about the point system uh, is that it forces people to actually be good or like have some qu kind of performance in every week. Um, so that's really strong for like if someone just get like really degens on week one and do like get a big balance, they still have to like make money on like other weeks. So yeah, I still think it's a decent system, but maybe like something like there's like yeah like a reverse point system for like by P like by negative P and L. If someone's like rank rank three worst P and L, like they should be deducted or something.
that's a cool idea. Any thoughts on your end, Jordy?
Yeah, I think that's I just hard disagree. Like I said, like in a World Series of Poker, if you get second place and you make $8 million, no one's like, "Oh, but you didn't keep all the chips at the end." Like that, the point is kind of like outlasting the other people and getting more kind of points than them. So I'm a strategy player. I played like a bunch of uh, board games at a high level, and for me, it's just like very strange to because it's not like the World Series of asset management and like who's going to have a sharp ratio over like 12 months and maintain wealth. It's just like here's some play chips. I mean, I treated them as play chips, 10K. Okay. um it was like just try to get points with
Yeah, yeah, I hear you. Well, I mean, for the people out there who don't know
Interesting.
yet,
Yeah, I
uh,
actually never thought about it from that perspective. I guess from um that perspective, if it that could make sense. But but yeah, I do think like that does kind of matter in trading though, right? Like, 'cause like if a trader or I guess that could be like another like a different conversation if someone has like volatile balances or not. But yeah.
mm,
that it like resets and you just don't have to worry about like P&L from previous weeks. But I thought it was like much more fun with structure, and like for me, even though I didn't win at the end, it was like so exciting. Like in the last hour because we got a snapshot 1 hour before, and I needed to be top three, and I was fourth, and like everybody had to gamble with each other. And I think like if the price of ETH was like up or down by like a couple dollars, it would have been a completely different outcome. So that was like so fun.
Rhino said at the end that he was like mega degen. I think he was like he had like a 500k P&L like position or something off pretty much nothing. And he said like if it had moved just a little bit, then it could have been bad. But yeah, he was like max degen at the end there.
Yeah. I mean, hey, this is our
Yeah,
first one.
I think it was an experiment. So I think we're always gonna have to learn and take the lessons.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah. Well, I mean, this is our first one, and we're planning another one next year. So definitely something we'll incorporate moving forward. Hey, speaking of degens, I'm kind of curious since we have some of the world's top traders on the line. You guys got any trading tips or anything that you think people who are just trading in their sort of personal capacity who are listening to the spaces, any sort of advice or any other tips you might want to give them while they're on the line? I'll go CL or Jordy. Any advice for the Joes out there, so to speak, from the pros?
Um, I, now I'm curious of what Jordy would say. Maybe I'm realizing he actually have a trades extremely different from me. So,
It's a very general question. Obviously, you could do like an entire 5 hour course on. I mean, I look at funding rates a lot. Like I made some money on the last week trading Sui, which had kind of like run up, and crypto Twitter was trying to push this questionable narrative, in my opinion. But the funding rate got very negative, and it showed that there were some trapped shorts. So from a purely trading perspective, you had to be very careful. It was probably going to like liquidate some shorts at some point, which ended up happening. It like ran from 90 cents to $1.10. Um, and then it presented a good opportunity after, but the funding rate resets only when the shorts are sort of liquidated. And um, yeah, that's like one thing that I keep an eye on that I can give as advice at least.
That's super interesting. CL, what do you think? You were saying that maybe your strategy is a little different.
no, I think, I think he was more flexible in that he, like, due to the layout of the like competition, which I didn't think of as much. I just did my usual thing. He like played it more like optimally for the rules, which I don't really have a flexible trading style. Like, you can't force me into like holding a long-term position. I haven't really traded in like a very long time, so I just did my usual thing. And like the Sui trade was interesting. Um, and I've always been like a big believer that like funding rate is like still a very useful indicator of positioning. Like, it's pretty rare that unless if it's like going into an unlock where then the funding rate price is in some sort of um eventual spot uh like realignment. Otherwise I do think funding rate is like decent alpha. Just note that even if like funding the funding gets really extreme, it can still like uh go against like these traders and stuff. So yeah, still always have risk management no matter like what like how obvious a trade could be. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think one observation I had like kind of just on the back end was just really seeing that like for I guess advice for like average or just regular retail traders is that everybody like there's a thousand ways to skin a cat. Everybody had different styles of trading. Some people were in and out. Some people had like longer term trades. Other people had like narrative driven trades, where they had like more fundamentals based. They thought something was underpriced, whereas other people were just kind of going with momentum. I think that as a retail trader, you really just need to find like what works for you and how you interpret information the best. And all these guys, as I said, were like they're professional traders. They trade like millions of dollars, uh, and all of them had different strategies, like different holding times, different coins they traded. I think that it's really just important if you are a retail trader wanting to like think about your edge, just figuring out like how best you interpret information and how you best figure out your own trading style. I think that's pretty important.
100% Sherpa. I'm kind of curious for CL and Jordy about the platforms you use. So we split up the traders onto different builders on the Orderly network. How did you find the UI? How did you find the experience? Was it workable for your style? I'm just kind of curious about that granular experience you had.
Hello, is space working or is it complete silent?
Hey, can you hear me? Test one, test two.
I can hear both you guys, for what it's worth.
CL, can you hear us? All right, I think CL.
I can hear you guys as well.
Yeah, I think CL might be having connectivity issues. How about you, Jordy? Were there any experiences that you had on like on the front end user interface that you found conducive to your style, or any other feedback you could give us?
I mean, yeah. First of all, thanks to the the different front ends, the different sites for putting in the starting chips for everybody. That was appreciated. I mean, for me, I guess like if you have nice charting and you can kind of change the different time periods easily. I'm not like a big technical analysis guy, but if I can just see clearly, the recent action, and then I can zoom out and look at the resistance levels. Um, so that worked fine. Like the charting was totally fine. That's the most important thing. Um, and some of the basics are sometimes getting wrong. So thankfully, like they're none of the basics. You can always see your positions. You can see your pending orders and cancel them. Um, so all of that was fine. Yeah.
Okay, that's great to hear. Arjun, on the back end, I'm kind of curious what were the most challenging aspects in terms of getting this whole thing going? Like what, as behind the scenes, what were some issues that you personally felt we needed to kind of adjust for? Any perspective from sort of the orchestrator of the tournament?
Honestly, I think overall it went pretty well. Like Sherpa kind of referenced, right? Like it was a good learning experience. It was the first one we did, and we went big with it, right? Like we could have done maybe like a smaller campaign, but we wanted to go um, hard and make this a really, really big deal. And with that comes its own like learning experiences, right? Like different feedback from the traders in terms of, like timelines. That's an important one. Some timelines worked for them. We had a couple of traders that were on holiday for the first week. Which made it tricky. But then, based on the point system, they kind of had to get involved as quickly as possible. Only a couple of trades were needed when some people when like Thicky got liquidated, so you could kind of gain some points quite quickly with a couple of trades. Other things operationally, like that we went into it knowing um, that we needed, a live leaderboard, I think was probably essential. I think CL mentioned, like the different timestamps for the updates and how he could potentially play into that, but he wasn't really looking at that, and maybe some others were. I think a live leaderboard would have been important, and definitely something we are going to push for World Series of Trading number 2. Um, the rest of it was like, relatively seamless. There were maybe at times, you know, back end operational pieces that we wanted to fix and align. But I think that honestly, the team did such a good job internally at Orderly of just, everyone knew what they were doing. Within a couple of days, even if, those operations weren't moving in the right direction, the next day everything was smooth. So broadly, I think we just took a lot of learnings. We moved fast. We've got a bunch of really good feedback from both the traders in terms of the quality of the product, where we need to improve, what they want to see, how they can trade more and orderly, what the builders need to do to enhance the user experience and the onboarding. And then we have a bunch of feedback of how we can really change and adjust World Series of Trading number 2. And I think for us, that's one of the key pieces. We want to keep this train running. We want World Series of Trading to be as big as possible. We want it to be and the thing that I loved about it, actually, I would say, is when we announced it, there are a bunch of like traders that were kind of like, what's going on here? Why aren't I in it? Why were these guys invited? Blah blah blah. And I kind of like that, because that shows like big appetite for these coming in. For it was an invite only based tournament, but there's a big suite of traders that are looking to get into the next one, and showcase to their audiences what they can do. Maybe that's an ego thing, I don't know. Or maybe they just want to be involved. But yeah, overall everything ran very, very smoothly, but we have a huge amount of like great feedback that we can double down on and make the next one even bigger.
Yeah, 100%. Guys, well, I've been learning a ton as we've been going, taking down notes for my own personal trading. Sherpa, CL, Jordy, any concluding remarks? Anything we haven't touched on the tournament?
I mean, congrats again to Rhino. I think the point system was good. I like the fact is like Grand Prix. It did remind me of like Formula One, because in Formula One you also have situations where like the leaders are trying to pass each other, and they go so hard at each other that they end up crashing, and somebody else comes by that was going like slowly behind them and just passes everybody. So that ended up happening. I think like a lot of the early front leaders just like crashed into each other, and I think that was like it was just like really really fun and interesting. So I enjoyed it.
Awesome. Rip Thicky. CL or Sherpa, any last thoughts on your end?
I mean, Thicky had the right idea. He was shorting WorldCoin like on day one. He was just too early on the trade. Like would have like done pretty well, eventually. But anyways, I had a really good time overall, just like in terms of just seeing what's happening on the back end, really like talking with all the traders. Learned a lot. I think format will obviously have to adjust it a little bit going forward in terms of thinking about how we can better marry overall top P&L with like points. But like I definitely think the point system is good for sure. But no, overall, like I really enjoyed the competition overall, and really excited for the next one.
Awesome.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
yeah, if no one's willing to, I'm totally down to like help commentate or judge the next trading comp.
Awesome.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, would love that.
Yeah, yeah, man.
Wait, am I stealing your job?
No. let's do it together. It's all good.
Okay.
Good job.
Okay. Well, guys, it's been a pleasure. I know it was a blast following everyone as they battled it out, especially when the market was a little choppy like that. So thanks so much to CL, Jordy, Alcoin Sherpa, the entire Orderly team for participating in this. Reminder again for the audience, $200 USDC recap for the prize for the best recap of today's spaces. And gentlemen, it's been a pleasure. Thanks so much for joining and sharing your perspective.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Thanks also to Jordy and CL for joining us. We really appreciate the fresh commentary from the participants. It was really, really good stuff. Appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
All right. Thanks, guys. Take care.